Hey everyone, so today we're looking at our first flat key signature, and that of course is F major, and F major has one flat and it is B, it's B flat. Okay, now if that didn't make sense and you're sort of unsure, definitely check out this video here. This is the circle of fifths. It goes into great detail and shows you just why we're getting all those sharps and flats and a great way of how to remember it. Okay, so click that video, but otherwise let's just dive straight into it. Okay, so there's going to be some chords here that maybe you've played before, and there's probably going to be some chords that you definitely haven't played before, but we're going to go through each and every chord. Okay, so stay around and let's go through them all. But let's begin. So we're going to make an F major scale, and all of those notes are going to be in the same F major key signature. So let's start at the beginning. So we've got F. Let's move up 2 frets to G. Let's move up another 2 frets to A. Let's move up a semitone. Now we're moving up a semitone, so it's not going from A to A sharp because that's the same note name, okay? It has to go up a different note name every time. So instead of A going to A sharp, it's going from A, a different note name, to B flat. And that's how we start getting flats, okay? So we've got B flat. Now you move up 2 frets and you've got C. You move up another 2 frets there, you get D, another 2 frets E, and then a semitone, you get back to F. Okay, that's it. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So let's put scale degrees under those note names, okay? Now, under every one of those note names, you can build a chord. So we're looking at major triads and minor triads and diminished triads today. Triads just means 3-note chords. We're looking at 3-note chords today, but of course, using all the different strings on the guitar. So let's dive straight into it. So the chords that we're going to be looking at today: F major, G minor, A minor, B flat major, C major, D minor, E diminished, and then back to F major. Just all those scale degrees, so no more talking from me, let's get straight into it. So the first chord, F major, okay? Nice big happy sounding chord. I'm going to show you a few different ways to play that, because there's an easy way and then there's a medium way and then there is a hard full bar chord way that I just showed you there. So let's go the easy way. So there's 3 notes in this chord. There's a first, a major third, and a perfect fifth. Again, if some of this theory doesn't make sense, go back to my channel link here, okay, and go through my grade 1 playlist. Everything is explained there, and of course all for free. So there's 3 notes, F, A, and C. Root note, a major third, and a perfect fifth. So start by having your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, or the 4th string, that's your F note. Drop down and have your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, that's your A note. There's your major third. Nice and happy and bright so far, yeah? Then you've got your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the B string, that's your C note, that's the perfect fifth. So if you just play those 3 strings, that's all you need to play an F major chord, okay? Nice and happy. You want to make it a little bit trickier? Lie your 1st finger down so it's also on the 1st fret of the high E string. Okay, and play 4 strings now. Now you want to make it even trickier? Okay, well let's start again. So even trickier, this is the hardest version. So we've got our 1st finger on the 1st fret of the thick E string. That's our F note, okay? We're going to use all the strings this time. Now you stretch out a string below and a fret across. You've got your 3rd finger, okay, on the C note. So if you just play those 2 notes, that's our power chord, yeah, as used in rock and metal, all that jazz, yeah? So now use your pinky on the 3rd fret on the string below that on the D string, okay? Okay, so that there is another F note. Now use your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, or the 3rd string. Okay, so all the notes are there. So if you just want to play that, that's fine, and it's good to get used to that sort of finger positioning. Now, this is the hard part. Lie your finger flat, your 1st finger, and hold down every 1st fret on every string. Okay, that's the hardest method. And that's a big bar chord, but the good thing is about this bar chord is if you can learn this one bar chord, it's so challenging and hard in that area. It's only an F major bar chord, okay, because of the way our fingers are, but more importantly because the 1st letter name there on the thick E string is F. If you were to move it up 1 fret to F sharp, you get an F sharp major, G major. It's a movable shape, so learn 1 major bar chord and you've learnt every major bar chord, okay? So I'm going to show you 2 ways how to play G minor, okay? There's a simple way and then it does get into a bar chord version as well. See how you go. So 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the thick E string. There's our G note, okay? And now I am going to show you G major, but we'll turn it minor together, okay? So now use your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. That's your B note. Drop down a string, you want that string open. Drop down a string, you want that string open too. So there's a D string and a G string open. Then drop down again, okay. Then this time you want that open B string, so second string too. And then you want your third finger stretched down on the third fret of the first string. So that there is G major, but to get from a major to a minor chord, we have to flatten the third or take that third degree. So back one semitone. So the third degree in this case is B. So we want it down a semitone. So we have to use B flat. So we definitely can't use that open B string, okay? And we definitely can't use that second note on the fifth string because that there is a B note. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep our fingers the same so far, but our first finger is going to jump back a fret onto the first fret of the A string, okay? That there will make the chord a lot sadder sounding and we'll turn it into minor. Great. Now, what we're going to do is with our third finger, we're going to jump it up a string onto the third fret of the B string, okay? And that's going to be another D note. And then our pinky is going to jump down on the third fret of that high E string and be another G note. So it's a big open and sad sounding G minor chord. So I reckon that's the first way you can look at playing it, okay? Just remember, you can't play any B notes, it's gotta be B flat. Another way is the movable bar chord way. So this is definitely the next way that you should tackle it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have our first finger on the third fret of the thick E string. There's a G note. Stretch down a string down and a fret across with your third finger. That there is a power chord, that's our D note. Yeah. So now we're gonna use our pinky tucked below that on the fifth fret of the D string. Okay, doing well so far, okay. So that there is another G note. Okay, so now here's the challenge. Use your first finger, which is on the third fret, yeah. You hold down all the different strings on the third fret. You play all the different strings. Bit of a challenge, so use the first method and go up to the second method. Well done. So now we're going to jump into A minor, okay? So the fifth string is going to be open. Second finger on the second fret of the D string. Third finger on the second fret of the G string. First finger, okay? First finger down there on the first fret of the B string. An open E string. And that's it. So open, second fret, first fret, and then open again. And the notes there is you've got the open A string, you've got an E note, you've got another A note, you've got a C note, which is the minor third, which makes it sound sad on the first fret, and you've got another E note. Great, well done. Alright, so now we're going to have a look at B flat major. This is another movable bar chord. It is a little bit tricky to begin with, but trust me, the more time that you put into learning this, you can just apply it. Because it's a movable shape, you can apply it to all other movable major chords. Okay, so let's have a look. So first finger on the first fret of the A string or the fifth string, okay? Now you want your string down, you want your second finger, big stretch, string down and a fret across onto the third fret of the fourth string. So now you want your third finger on the third fret of the third string, okay? And then now you want your pinky stretched out as well on the third fret of the second string. That's the B flat major chord. So once you can do that, simply practice barring, and all that means is use your first finger to hold down every string, okay? Barring the sixth string, because we're not using it, okay? But barring, so your first finger is holding down every string on the first fret. So you can play comfortably, you can play those 5 strings. Now, don't just think, oh, it's gonna take me so long to learn this one chord. Don't just think that, because the cool thing is, once you do have that chord, it's only B flat, okay? Because our starting note on our first finger is B flat. If you wanted to play B, you just move it up a semitone and have all the same fingerings. Just moved up a fret. You want to play C? Same thing again. Just move up another fret. So just take your time learning B flat major because it'll definitely come in handy later on. So we're almost there, guys. Well done for sticking around. So now we're looking at C major. So we've probably learned C major before, so if you have, well done, this is going to be easy for you. If you haven't, then do stick around. So we've got our third finger on the third fret of the fifth string. That's our C note. You've got your second finger on the second fret of the string below. And then the next string down, the third string, it's the G string. You've got that open, so you've got C, E, G. Great, well done so far. So the next string down, the second string, you've got your first finger on the first fret. That's another C note. And the last string, the first string, that's another E note, so you just have that lying open as well. Well done. So now guys, we've got D minor. So we're gonna start with the fourth string open. That's a D note. Then we've got our second finger there on the second fret of the third string. That's our A note. Then we've got our third finger on the third fret of the B string or the second string. It's another D note. And this is the all-important minor third that makes the chord sound minor or makes it sound sad. We've got our first finger on the first fret of the thin E string or the first string. So now we're going to look at the last chord in F major. Okay, now this is E diminished. Now the quickest and simplest way I can show you this chord is use your first finger all the way up on the 7th fret, okay, of the A string. Okay, that's our starting note, that's our E. Then use your second finger, a fret across and a string down, okay, on the 8th fret there, okay, of the 4th string. Then use your pinky on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. Then use your second finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. Then you've got E diminished. Now it's a movable shape, and what that means is it's an E diminished chord because we're starting on the 7th fret of the A string. If you played the 3rd fret of the A string, okay, the C note, but you did the same chord shape that we just did before for E diminished, it becomes C diminished. And so on and so on, okay? But well done guys, you've made it to the end and you've learned all the chords. The next chord of course would be F major, but we already covered that. That was our first chord, so well done, okay? Now, if this was a bit too rushed and you want more talk on each and every different chord, okay, all you need to do is simply head to this link here, okay, and scroll down to my playlist on chords, and there's a lot more chords in there, maybe some other chords that you're not sure of and you haven't learnt before, and there'll be each chord going into a little bit greater detail. But otherwise, well done. If you like the effort that I put in, please like this video, and if you have any questions or you're having a bit of a hard time, or you just want to tell me how you're going, leave a comment below, and otherwise, well done guys, see you again, bye.